Because can't hear.
Stuff going on, so it's time to learn about it. The states are corporations, the cities are corporations, and you are a corporation. They made you a corporation, an entity. Corporate's an entity, you're an entity. They made you a corporation. What we want to understand is the United States, when they formed this corporation thing, they made their own straw man. The corp is the straw man. So we don't have to go out and pull ourselves out of the system because the forefathers have already figured out we control the corp and we don't own anything. That's our straw man. If you don't believe you're a corporation, turn over your social and look at your corporate number on the back. You need to own your own straw man. That's going to be your corporation. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. All we got to do is not hate the game, not hate the player. Learn the game and become a player. You want to own nothing and control everything. The United States is
Own nothing and control everything. Now, if you don't believe it, they can do eminent domain on any of your property and take it at any time, right? You think you can own it, but you don't. All right, you're playing a game, and they're playing a game with you. Here's the thing, and you don't own a house if you're paying a note. Who owns the house? The bank owns the house, or the mortgage company owns the house. You're paying on it, but they actually own the house. Now, the other thing I want to get in here, it says, then God said to them, every seed, every bearing plant on the face of the earth, and everything, he says, and every tree that has fruit and with seed in it, I'm going to give it to you for food. But then he says, I also am going to give you something else. In verse 28, he says, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it. So the text tells us to control things, manage it. God owns it. We're to manage it. So you got to be good stewards and good managers. Is that right? All right, watch this next thing. So you own nothing, but manage everything. Let's go.
Should not have an LLC because that's limited. The bank says you're limited, we don't deal with that. Number two, you should be a corporation, a C Corp. That's what they like. So if you're going to be a C Corp, first obstacle that you got to overcome is your time in business. What are the rules? The rules are you should be 2.5 tax years before you even attempt to get some money. One guy came and said, Mr. Derrick, you know, I got my 2-year corp, but I didn't get any money. I said 2.5 tax years. That's from January to April. 2 of those is 2 years, 8 months. So you might as well round it off to 3 years. Number one, you should not have an LLC because that's limited. The bank says you're limited, we don't deal with that. Number two, you should be a corporation, a C Corp. That's what they like. So if you're going to be a C Corp, first obstacle that you got to overcome is your time in business. What are the rules? The rules are you should be 2.5 tax years before you even attempt to get some money.
All right. There you go. Now listen, what is he talking about? Our structure is wrong. So a lot of us have what? LLCs. Your LLC, I'm going to go over that in a moment, should be under something, the C Corp. So what you really need is a C Corp. You need a C Corp, and everything is going under the C Corp. I'm going to go into it a little more. The other part of that is 2.5 tax years. Doesn't mean that you have a corporation for 2 years. You know what that really means? We got to learn how to do things like shelf companies. Shelf companies. You know, you got to begin to put value to your company, and you got to give company time. And to give the company time, what you would do, and we're going to teach you a little more about how to do that, how to take the company you have and add age to it so that you're able to get money. Right now with your LLC, you're not getting anything. So you're just sitting your LLC on the shelf. And people love to say, I got a company, I got LLC. So that's not where we're gonna go. We're gonna teach you to go a little further. I mean, I applaud you for trying, but we're gonna go a little further. Watch this again. I'm gonna make sure we zoom in on what is being said. Let's go.
Came and said, Mr. Derrick,
No,
you know,
next
I got my, have relationships with the bank. So you're not gonna go in and say, I wanna do a pledge loan and you're not signed up, I wanna borrow the money. You're gonna join the bank. When you're going in and trying to get money from the bank, you wanna make sure that you pull an inquiry, because inquiries matter. They really don't, because I'm gonna show you how to knock them out the sky. But just to be safe, say, listen, how many loans, kind of loans do you give? They say, we'll give a car loan, we give 2 credit cards, we give an installment line, and we're gonna explain the difference between installment line, car loan. They all have different impacts. All right? So go to a bank and ask them, you say, like Navy Federal, you say, hey, I would like to get a loan, and will you counter me? They say, how much you want? You say, I want 10,000, but will you counter me? If I don't, you won't give me 10, will you counter me and give me something less? And not say denied. Say, well, sure. If once they say yes, go in. Say, okay, I would like 10,000, I would like 25,000. Why not 25,000, right? So you go and you say, I want $25,000. If they give you 25,000, you say, well, do you have other products? Because banks, if we use the right words, right? Could you give me a loan? No. Do you have other products?
Pause it for a second.
That's
Now you
good.
know.
What did we say? Do you have other what?
Products.
We didn't say do you have other loans.
Nope.
So you gotta learn how to speak the language. Are you gonna go in and you're just not gonna get a pledge loan? You wanna know what products that they have, and will they counter you? So you're gonna ask for 25,000. They may not give you 25,000. They give you 15, right? But you wanna get in first. You wanna start having relationships with banks. You wanna get in with banks and have relationships with banks. The other thing that I started doing with the staff is getting to know bank managers and also people at the bank, so I can get things done.
Yeah.
I can get things done.
Relationship.
I need a relationship with the bank.
Right.
I need a relationship with the bank. Being able to get things done. I need favor. But if you're gonna do business, you gotta learn how to speak the language. You gotta speak what he called Latin.
Right.
You gotta be able to speak Latin. Okay.
Yeah.
Who you speak Latin. Because you need to have relationships with the bank. So you're not gonna go in and say,
Right.
I wanna do.
Let's go. You got it now? All right, you're gonna start speaking what? Latin.
Latin.
You're gonna start
Speak their
speaking
language.
the language of the bank. Okay, here we go.
Is an entity. It's a corpse. Latin for person. You're a person, I'm a person, it's a person.
All right,
So you have to
we're
grow it up.
gonna start it over because I know you couldn't hear that. All right, so I wanna make sure that it's up. My sound is up. I'm gonna put a mic there.
It's picking up on the live. I can hear it.
Let's go.
Is an entity. It's a corpse. Latin for person. You're a person, I'm a person, it's a person. So you have to grow it up into a big person. You don't own a corp, it's a person. So if anybody out here says, I have a corporation, and they say, I own it, stop saying it. It's a person. I want you to write this down. It's a special purpose entity. The special purpose entity was put in place 2,000 years ago so that they.
All right, put it on pause. I'm ready to go to the next one. It says, it's a person. Corporation is what? A person. You're a person. The corporation is a person. Stop saying you own it. You don't own it. It's a person. You walk around and say, I own the company. No, you don't. It's a person. It's a person. It's like when you have a relationship, there is one person, a second person, and then the relationship itself is alive. And what people do is they major on each other and they forget the life of the relationship. And so that's how you get in trouble. You gotta realize that your company is a person and you gotta know how to treat it because it's a person. Right? Ready for the next? Or you gotta know how to treat it. It's a what again? A person. And you gotta know how to treat it. I'm ready.
Company, a Latin name. I want you to find out what SIC codes banks like, what SIC codes banks don't like.
Write this word down. S-I-C. SIC codes. SIC codes.
Special code that banks use to identify what you do. Now, since we know they see what you do, now we wanna go in and let's say you wanna be big. You have to put in your company what you want it to be. One of our companies is Robust Inc. I went into Google and I said, I wanna be big because I know.
Hold on, pause it. He said SIC, SIC. You want to be big. So what did you name your company? He said his company was Robust. He wanted to be big. So his company was Robust. So you got to look up the SIC, what banks like to see, and that's how you start naming your company. I know y'all want to call it Aunt Helen because you like Aunt Helen, but that may not get you the money. Does that make sense?
How to name your company.
All right, you gotta learn how to name your company. So we wanna make sure that we learn how to name our company. All right, let me move on to the next one. All right, this is gonna be important again. Let's go.
For structure, we want to do the 7 structure, and then T, and then D,
Pause it.
A's.
Jesus.
What is the corp?
You wanna do the right structure of your company. Let's talk about what that structure may look like. Let's go.
For structure, the proper structure, we want to do the 7 structure, and then T, and then D, B, A's. As many as you want. Nobody's going to show you the 7 structure, because you ain't supposed to know. All right, so right here is the C corporation. Banks don't like LLCs. That means limited liability corporation. So we want to have the proper structure. So a C corp is the mama. So let's go over this. C corporation. When you take the C corporation, what you do is you're going to put everything in the C corporation underneath as DBAs. Doing business as. And you can have as many of those as you want. What is the corporate structure?
Doing business as many as you want. It's gonna help you tax-wise. It's going to help you with banking. You wanna be able to, you want money and you wanna move like corporate America. So you gotta learn how to do it, right? 7 structure. So now we understand that. Let me pause for a second. Is there a question so far? Doing business as. So you got the C Corp, you take your LLCs, and you put it underneath the C Corp. Doing business as. We good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
That is your straw man, not your LLC. You got your LLC. This is a C corporation. The C corporation was made so that it can go in and get money. It has a good relationship with the bank. We'll lend the corporation $1 million. The corporation that's just made the bank have 9 times that amount. So that's a good relationship, right? So they want to give you the money. This is a game they set up, and this is called a special purpose entity. You get money with this thing to do business. You don't do it reverse. You don't go work your behind off with your 401k trying to do business. If you do that, how many people actually have businesses that are broke? If a business was going to make you successful, then why are they broke? You need to own your own corp because that is your straw man, not your LLC. You got your LLC. This is a C corporation.
That cracks me up.
You get it? So stop saying LLC, C Corp. Everything goes under the C Corp. I want you to change how you structure things so we can start making money. What else he talked about? You just operating on your 401k. That's all you operate on. And people do it all the time. That's all you operate on is your 401. Nothing else. There's no other investments. There's no other banking business. There's nothing else that you know how to do. All you know how to do is pull from your 401. You got to learn how to do business. And you got to learn how to make your company make money. Now, again, started out doing good. Hit the hiccups. When you hit the hiccups, how do you pick yourself up after you hit the hiccups? That's where I had to start learning. You start off good, you start making money, and then you get these hiccups, and all kinds of hiccups. And when after you get these hiccups, how do you pick yourself back up? And how do you become greater? How do you become greater? How do you start having a multi-million-dollar company? How do you start having a $1 billion company? That's where the study started coming in at. You got to learn from it. You got to learn. You do learn from your mistakes. You make mistakes, you learn from your mistakes. When you get up, when you pick yourself up, you can't go back the same way you've been. You got to start making the changes. And so when I realized that I can't go back where I've been, I had to start studying to figure out, what am I supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to be operating out here as a company, as a corporation? You want billions. How do you operate with billions? Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, move to the next one.
That will give you up to a $50,000 credit card, even with bad credit. Apple Federal Credit Union is bad credit friendly, and anyone can join. All of their credit cards come with a no annual fee and a no balance transfer fee.
Pause it.
All you have.
Pause it. Now, here's the thing. Financing your work. Knowing how to finance, how to get the money, how to have the 50,000, and you know your credit is challenged. Where do you go when your credit is challenged? How do you do it? Where do you go? And understanding the secrets to, I like to say it, to the kingdom. Knowing what to do. And yesterday, we opened up a few accounts, including one with this, right? Just a few credit union accounts. Why are we doing this? Because we're going to follow a particular formula, which I'll talk about next week, formula of how to get the money. Because we've got to start operating with what? Funding. You need to be able to get funded. Let's move to the next one. You want to be able to get funded, and you got to know where to go to get funded. That's the other thing they had to learn. You operate a company, right? But you don't know where to get funded. And so here you are working hard every day because you're trying to have money. And you know what? It doesn't always work. It doesn't always work. Remember I told you about hiccups? Hiccups happen. And you got to know what to do. I want to see, when we bought, the church bought a $1 million building. When I was 27, we moved to Maryland. The building was 1.2 million. My note was $20,500 a month. I'm 27 years old, and I'm taking a church from a storefront into $20,500. You know the people didn't have the money. We had to build a daycare in there. We built a daycare on the bottom, got it approved, and then we were working with the daycare. We had, the main office upstairs. We were working businesses. We were going into real estate. We did a few things, and we made the money. The church never made the money. We made the money for the church. But I'm 27, and it was rough because you're trying to lead people older than you, and then you got this army of young people climbing, and everything is going on at the same time. It was difficult. And when you hit the hiccups is when you start hitting politics. And politicians start saying, hey, we need you to make a change. They wanted us to shift our location to somewhere else because a lot of things is going on when we're sitting on that corner. Well, we went through this process and we ended up, they have to be trained, church and business. Does that make sense? I want you to understand, again, you're going to be so excited and proud of what God's done for us and how the Lord is doing. You should be excited about where you're in right now, from where we come from.
Amen.
You should be excited about this and everything you need to do. If you need to sell a donut, you should be selling a donut because we're in here.
Yes.
Does that make sense? It really does something to me if I think that that's not where you are.
Absolutely.
That's not where you are. That's not how you're thinking. So somebody has to do the research to be able to do it. All right, we're going to talk about primary trade lines. 5 primary trade lines and how do you get them. Let's look.
Primary trade lines to increase your credit score in less than 30 days. Kick off. Build credit, lower your utilization, and raise your credit age. See an average of 28 points in your first month. They offer 4 different credit builders, from a credit account, credit builder loan, rental reporting, along with a secure card. No credit check required, and start with as little as $5 a month. So, no hard pull. This secure loan and secure card will report to all 3 credit bureaus. You choose the payment and amount that fits your budget. Starts at $25 a month. Cancel anytime. Add up to 2 years of payment history by reporting your bills and rent in less than 72 hours for $6.95 a month, which will help your payment history, credit mix, along with your credit age. With your credit or repairing your credit, you can get approved for up to $30,000 with Tomo. Your credit line is based off your cash flow into your bank account, reports to all 3 credit bureaus, and is a charge card. So be mindful, this means you can't carry a balance. Credit and save money with Kovo, reports to all 3 credit bureaus, and Innovis, which is the 4th largest credit reporting agency. No credit check, and start with as little as $10 over a 24-month term. Your term, length, amount, and build credit to qualify for a home or credit card with earned cheese. Reports to all 3 credit bureaus. No credit check required. My primary trade
Stop.
lines to increase your.
Now, you had a wife or a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever it is, they should be making sure that both of your credits are good. Don't be in relationships with people. Remember I told you, we're narcissistic. It's all about them. And they don't have time to build you. You cannot be in relationships with people who don't build you. Does that make sense? Now, I know some women probably have stepped out and built some people. I mean, built some people. Some trucks on the road belongs to the woman and not the man.
Very true,
Oh.
yeah,
You didn't know that, did you?
very true.
And some of these women in here own companies that you don't know nothing about.
No idea.
And you're just sitting there looking at them like they don't know any better. I actually used some of this and increased my credit score. I actually did it and increased my credit score. So I didn't want to show you something that I didn't use. I actually did it. Now I'm going to say this again. Now you got some women who smart enough to build their children's credit.